Good morning, good morning, good morning. Whenever people arrive, and I'm sure they will in short order. Maybe a long order, because I didn't really give out a notification. But hey, somebody just showed up, so that's a good sign. Good morning. Yes, I didn't have a notification for you today, but uh, had to get this going at some point here. Aw, good morning, beautiful wifey. Uh, hey, Mayor. We got Peoria dogs up in here, and we got Mayor up in here. It's a good way to start the day. Good to see you, sir. Glad you could join us. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be rainy out here today, but um, yes, it is. It was thunderstorming last night for quite a bit, but I think we're going to get a little bit more of it today. That's all right though. I I would like it to maybe bleed off before the afternoon gets going, and maybe I get some mowing done. I might have to wait for tomorrow though, judging how it's going. Hey, we got some thumbs up going on. That's a cool deal. I always appreciate that. Oh, it's good to see you folks again. Well, at least your screen names and your comments. Um, Good morning, Feather. Glad you could join us. Waiting to plumbers so I can ask them why they need to replace something. Replace father-in-law's pump instead of calibrating the pressure switch. Huh. So people that don't want to do their jobs right, I understand that. I know how that can be. I've probably been that more than once in my life. Oh, can you hear my children? My dog children? They're quite boisterous this morning, fussing with each other. Their mom's not here. She's over babysitting some other dogs, so they're flipping out a little bit. Ugh. Fixing stuff that ain't broke. Nice. Yeah, that's always a blessing. Well, I'm sitting out here on this little patio area in the backyard. My beautiful lady did some garden work the other day while I was gone, and I had started on this by spraying a bunch of the weeds that had grown up between the bricks that we have down here. And yeah, you can kind of see some of this area had been just overgrown. Stuff had just totally come up through here, and it was a bit of a mess. But we took a mixture of salt water. When I did it, I used salt water, vinegar, and a little bit of dish soap, right? And those three things I would just sprayed all over this area in all the cracks and crevices. And then I guess beautiful Lady Bear went over it again and used just salt water mostly is what she'd said. So yeah, then she went through and actually dug stuff out of the cracks, which I should be getting on that. But I'm grateful that she did what she did. Now it's all nice and comfy over here. Uh, Pretty cool. Hey, who's that? Uncensored. Good morning. Glad to see you. Oh, well, I'm back in the bear gear here. Getting ready to head to Alaska. Let's see here and this is, by the way, it looks like it's been eaten by a bear a little bit. Chunk got a hold of this hat at one point or another, and being the young boy that he is, destruction is his only his only option. Um, so yeah, good morning. I'm getting ready to head out soon. Within the next few days or so here, I'm gonna head north for a couple weeks, and we'll try to get some podcasts going. I don't know what my internet connectivity is gonna be up there. Of course, I'm gonna be staying at a reasonably known hotel, while I'm up that way. So I suspect I'll have Wi-Fi, and I don't know if I'll be able to do live streams at this time. Well, I might be able to, because it'll be, yeah, I might still be able to knock it out at 8 a.m. Central. So it'll just be 6 a.m. local. Um, yeah, we'll do. We got to go do that for the Air Force. We're I guess some of our people are going to go up and help out at a hospital up that way, and then one of our chaplains and I are going to go do some work up that way too. No, I think it's not the Air Force base. It'll be one of the Army posts up that way. So probably Wayne, probably Wayne. Um, but you know, Wayne conservative, not Wayne liberal. Get it? Get it? Mayor knows what I'm talking about. um, let's see now. So, took my physical fitness test yesterday for the Air Force, and I bombed. I missed the run by about 15 seconds, and that's a frustration. That's like, man, I've been working on it for. Yeah, I'm trying a little bit. Beautiful Lady Bear knows what I'm saying too. She gets it. Um, let's see here. Yeah. I'm losing my train of thought reading the chat again. Thanks, my beautiful wife. My wife is squirreling me today. What's going on? Um, oh man. Yeah, well, you know enough, Mayor. You probably got deeper in intel than I ever did. I'm willing to bet. Um, so yeah, I went and took that test, and the Air Force test isn't really that difficult. It's like a mile and a half, and for the run, and then it's as many push-ups as you can do in a minute, and as many sit-ups as you can do in a minute. So, and then they tape your waist to kind of see where you're at. Uh, it's crazy Alaskans. Man, we're totally corrupting her. Dearest, you've got to get on unbearablesApp.com and then go verify yourself, right? Get a verified name, and then you'll be all legit and official. You could even go make yourself a separate email, on Gmail there as a verified beautiful lady bear at gmail.com. It could be a thing, and that could be for all your bear related activities. But maybe you don't want to go that deep. Maybe you want to. Hey, Steve. Good morning. We're just talking about. I'm getting ready to head out in some days from now to up north, and that's going to be interesting. Up in Alaska right now, they're having like 20 hours of daylight, and that's got to be interesting. I don't think I've ever experienced that. So when I go to bed. And like the sun doesn't go down until midnight. That's going to be a really strange experience. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Beautiful Lady Bear has. She's been up there. Oh, is that a song? I'm going to have to look that one up. North to Alaska by Johnny Horton. Or is it a book? One of those two. I'm guessing it's a song, knowing you, Mayor, as I've gotten to. Let's see here. Yeah. So I'll have to check that out. North to Alaska by what'd you just say? Johnny Horton. Johnny Horton. North to Alaska by Johnny Horton. I'm gonna have to remember that. Yeah, I'll get that. So, Kikia, good morning to you. Good to see you. I was just talking about, I was waiting for some folks to roll in here. So I took the Air Force PT test yesterday, and I bombed it. I didn't pass it by like 15 seconds. I needed about 15 more seconds to be in my time. And I've been practicing, I've been working on that a bit over the last couple months, but apparently not enough. And you think I've done some where I've done the run a lot faster than I would have expected. I did different terrain. I was definitely pushing myself to do a lot of uphill stuff. Of course, that meant there was some downhill that was involved in that, so that kind of gives you a little burst of speed. but at least it can if you loosen up and let it pull you. But I was saying that the Air Force PT test consists of a 1.5 mile run and as many push-ups as you can do in a minute, as many sit-ups as you can do in a minute, and a waist taping. And measure your waist and all that jazz. So for my age group, I've got to get what is it? I think a minimum of like 30-something push-ups, but that they have like the minimums and they have the target zones, right? And so to be able to pass it, you have to get enough of a score in all of the different areas that goes above the target. And if you're below the target in one of the areas, you have to have maybe maxed out in one of the other areas, gotten the maximum amount of points in order to make sure that you qualify. Like you could still get the minimum. Take it easy, Mayor. Yeah, we'll see. We'll be here. You have to get. You can. How would I say this? You can get the minimum passing score in an event. Oh, I loved your shirt, by the way, Kikya. I think your shirt is great, and you're absolutely right. I'm so sorry. I was a little preoccupied. I was gonna get to that, for sure. But no, I wasn't gonna call your shirt a failure either. Or how would I say that? The losing will to fight thing has nothing to do with your shirt, just so you know. I think your shirt is great, and I agree. No minorities here, just Americans. We used to have a similar saying in the Army. It's like drill sergeants look around and say, the only color I see here is green, right? That's how they would think about it. But no, I definitely enjoyed that, and I might have to get myself one of those. It'd be really great. Trying to think now. So let me make sure I finish this. The PT test in my age group, I've got to get in the target zone. I can get the minimum passing score in an event and still not pass the overall test. You know what I'm saying? Because all the events have to be in the target zone or above to be considered like that's a healthy range for your age group. So yeah, feel free, share that up. I'd love to see that shirt. That sounds like a blast. I had to get like a minimum of 36 push-ups to be in we'll look at, let's see, 36 push-ups to be in the target zone, and then 42 sit-ups to be in the target zone for that. I needed to have a 37.5-inch waist to be in the target zone for that, and then I needed a 13 minute 14-second run in order to be in the target zone for that. So in the waist and the run, I was not in the target. I still passed both events, but did not get in the target. So the overall score didn't pass. And I was surprised. I really thought my waist amount had gone down a bit, but I think maybe I just need another 10, 15 pounds, and that'll be gone. I used to be maxing out the waist just 6 years ago maybe, and yeah, I was having like a 29, 30-inch waist when I was 29 or 30, right? And now that I'm 35, I have 39-inch waist or 38-inch, between 30 and 39 a lot of the time. But I dropped that one more inch, or maybe even a half inch, and I'll be down in that target zone. So that's going to be some work I need to do. But the run, that was probably the most frustrating. And that's kind of what I'm talking about today. As I look back at that run, the track we use, we have to do 9 laps to equal 1.5 miles. So that means 3 laps equals a half mile. 1.5 is a quarter, obviously. So I have it figured out that to keep an average of a 4-minute half-mile pace, or an 8-minute mile pace, you know, is the average I want to be at. I need to finish each lap in 1 minute 20 seconds or better, right? And my first lap was like 1:12. You know, I was off to a good start. I was well below that time I'm shooting for. And even if I did every lap in 1 minute 20, right? Even if I kept that pace the whole time, I would still finish the whole thing in 12 minutes. You know what I mean? The whole thing would be done well inside the time frame I need to get it done in. And I started out on a good pace, but then right into like the second lap or even the third lap, I realized real quickly that I had slowed down a lot. Like I was now hitting a minute 35 or a minute 40 per lap. You know, even at one point I think one of them was like a minute 45. So I was really, and I was timing myself. I had my own timer going on my phone, you know, and I was listening to music, which I do all the time when I do these runs. And so I was right in step, knowing where my time's at. And my tester, he was calling out times every time I did a lap, you know, so I wouldn't necessarily have to worry about that, but at least I can check it as I'm going. So I had full awareness of where my time was. If I had picked up my pace between, you know, 5 to 10 seconds extra on just the last 3 laps, shoot, I could have done it in maybe six of my laps, 6 of the out of the 9. If I'd have picked up and just done even 5 seconds faster on 6 of the laps, I would have beaten the whole test. I would have done the whole thing. And so it's really cool that I see where I can improve on that. But I think the most frustrating part is that I know exactly what I didn't do, which was not give enough effort. I didn't fight through the whole thing. I didn't stay in the fight the whole time through. I got lax and lulled back into a comfortable pace where it wasn't killing me to keep that pace up, right? It's only like 13 minutes of my life. I could give myself the discomfort, and I've done it several times. That's how I've been in the military for 17 odd years now. I could have given that little bit of extra effort to push through and make that test pass, but I lulled back and I didn't, and I knew that was going on, and yet I still didn't give it. So the more I've thought about that, because it's not just today that I've thought about that, there are times in my life where I've seen that my willingness to push through and fight through things that are difficult is sometimes really low. You know, my willingness to put myself in, oh, you're more than welcome. No, I'm glad to do it. It's like I say, it keeps my family eating. I've said that for years to people, and it's true. I got in the first place because I needed a job. I needed to figure out what am I going to do to have a career and take care of my family. So I said, well, okay, I'll do that. I really don't want to go to, you know, a deployment or anything like that, but if I got it, I guess I got it. So cool, let's do what we got to do. And it's been one of the best experiences of my life. I've gotten a ton out of it. So I'm really grateful for it. But yeah, this whole thing of doing the physical fitness test every year is still a butt kicker for me, especially on that run. And even my push-ups and sit-ups were not where I thought they would be. I thought they'd be a bit better than they were. I was still above even my target zone, but not that much. Just a couple, you know, a couple above. Like, I expected to do over 40 put-ups, and I expected to do over 50 sit-ups. I figured I could get that. And the fact that I fizzled out as soon as I did, it just tells me that I've not been preparing enough up to that point. I've not been pushing myself to feel discomfort often enough to the point where it's not that uncomfortable for me when I actually get to the test. So, the more I've been listening to folks like Dr. Peterson lately, the more I've been getting that point hit back home to me. It's like, it's what I've learned all my life growing up in church. Most of life is suffering. Most of life is going to be pain, right? That's usually how it is. If you can have even a little bit of happiness, that's like icing on the cake. That's great. Most people throughout most of history, including now, vast majority of them have a lot of unpleasantness in their life. And I'm extremely blessed to have even a fraction of the things that I have in my life. So in some ways it's like it's a wonderful thing, and that it's like a double-edged sword. It has a responsibility attached to it. It means that I have to work extra hard to push myself, right? If I don't normally experience deep hardship, deep pain in some areas, physical or emotional, mental, I've experienced plenty, I think, in some ways, but not near as much as others. When I have to test myself, when I have to really push myself beyond what I'm comfortable with, how willing am I going to be to do that, right? If I'm not regularly pushing myself. So, yeah, it just made me think about that a bit yesterday. Um, it's like I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna redo that test, and I'm gonna knock it out of the park. I have no doubts about that. Zero. You have to be giving yourself, you both, yeah, Feather and Kiki, you're both right. Um, you have to be constantly feeding yourself a diet of challenge. You have to be constantly putting yourself in situations that um, you would rather not be in if you could help it. And when you think you've done enough, you need to do a little more. You know, I remember doing weightlifting and stuff when I was in high school. I'd go to the gym at the high school sometimes after school and whatnot, and start getting into simple weight stuff, just benches and bicep curls. Um, exactly, Steve. Um, it was one of the first times in my life that I'd really begun to try and push myself. I think one of the things I remember that they talked about was once you've gotten to your maximum, what you were planning on doing in terms of reps, do at least 2 or 3 more, right? When you feel like you're at muscle failure, try to do at least 1 or 2 more. Just get those out there, you know? So doing that, I was like doing that, like, oh, shoulders are sore from yesterday. Um, yeah, whatever you think you can do, try to do just a little bit more and fight through it, because you're not going to want it. You're going to be like, I'm done. No. Go a little bit farther, right? And I try to do this to my kids. I try to push them when they're done, when they don't feel like they want to do something. I'm like, we're going to go just that little bit more, because you're not going to want to do it right now, but you will one day. You're going to want the benefits that come out of that. It's like I preach this to my children. How much more do I need to be living it? You know? So yeah, I definitely see that that I don't push hard enough in some of those areas. I can remember the first time I got into athletics was sixth grade. Back in junior high, I went out for track. Went out for the track team. First time I'd been ever involved in any organized athletics, and my coach didn't really know that. I remember it was one of the first few days of practice, and it was tough, man. It was difficult, but that coach, he was rough on me there. He told me, I remember his name, Andrew Mulberry. Andrew Mulberry was his name. He was one of the, was it geography? He was a geography teacher? Something I cannot remember. That was one of the main things he did, but then he was also the track coach, and he was excellent, man. Really great pusher. But he saw me consistent. We were doing like these relay sort of races, you know, just on the short length of the gym, right, where we were at. We'd run back, you know, X amount of times, I think four times or so down and back, and you had to get your whole group through it, right? It was like a graduating thing. You'd run out like a short distance and then back, and a little further and all the way back, and a little further and all the way back, and all the way to the other side of the room and then back, right? And so I consistently came in last in the groups that I was in. I consistently was doing that throughout these. So he called the last time. He said, all right, if Rademacher comes in last, we're all running laps around this gym. And I did not want to be that guy. I did not want to be that guy at all. Morning, Fred. Good to see you. Feather, Kikia, Steve, everybody that's here. Mayor, I know you're probably still in here somewhere. And my beautiful lady. And if I'm missing somebody, Uncensored Christian, I know you're here too. That's super cool, Kikia. They should be in Young Marie. That's awesome. So this little event, he said, all right, Rademacher comes in last. We're all running laps around this gym. Everybody was like, don't be last. I'm like, I don't want to be last. I don't want that to be me. I pushed everything that I knew I could have at that moment. It was probably one of the few moments in my life where I'd really done that. I mean, really pushed for everything that I thought I had. And I was just bolting out speed. And I was thinking, I hope I can make it, but those thoughts started to get pushed out of my mind. I was too afraid to fail. And I pushed and pushed and pushed. And by maybe a nose, I got there, beat one guy. I beat one guy and wasn't last. And I was just barely able to breathe, you know, almost in tears. And and he said, all right, practice is done. He called it. Because he could see that I really did push everything that I had to try and do that. He didn't realize at the time that I was brand new to athletics. This wasn't my thing normally. But he saw something in that. It's like, all right. I know you're not just slacking around. Because I think that's what he thought, that I was just like saying, I don't give a crap about this. But when he realized, no, I really wanted to do it, I'm not accustomed to this at all. He took special interest, and he made me the youngest shot putter in that whole group. I was like the only guy in 6th grade, maybe one of the only guys, there might have been one other, but I think I was about the only 6th grader that was doing shot put. And it helped me made me, no one else involved in my thing. Exactly, right? Yeah, he put me in shot put at 6th grade because I was one of the only ones in 6th grade that had the upper body strength to throw a shot put. And I went to state competition for junior hires to do shot put that year, right? The next year, he put me in 110-meter hurdles. Previous to that, it had been like 100-yard hurdles or something. So the distance had grown for the first time. The event had been changed. Now they were going metric. You know, they wanted to use the tool of the devil. I'm kidding. Sort of. Anyway, so we were using the metric method there for measuring that, and it was 110-meter hurdles. So I think there was like one extra hurdle than normally had been in the event. So I'm one of the first ones to do that in 7th grade, and I was setting school records doing that. Like, I was having times of excelling in this. I was really making it. After my first week of that class, though, after my first week of practice, right, I got in the car and I was near tears. I was in tears, and I told my dad, I'm done. I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. But it was at the weekend. It was right at Friday, so I had time to think that over. Monday, I went back in. I was back at it. I'm like a pre-Kardashian Bruce Jenner. That's too funny, man. Hang on a second. I'm going to move over a little bit because it's starting to pour. All right. Real professional over here. Real professional work. Oh my gosh. My sensei used to say in the dojo, don't quit. If you quit in here, you will quit on the street and it could cost you your life. That's exactly right. That's my point right there. That is exactly what I'm thinking about. We had the sort of the same thing when I was some years later in the air unit here. They have a program called the Phoenix Raven program, and in that program I'm trying to think how I'd phrase that. In that program, you would be like security for a plane if it was going somewhere that probably didn't have as much. So it's intense training. And one of the aspects of that training is what they call the red man suit fighting, where you get this training baton and your instructor, whatever, a Phoenix Raven qualified person that gets dressed up in this suit of pads, and then you have to strike them, right? You have to go against them for at least a full minute, right? A full minute. If you hit them properly, if you hit them in the places that would make a real person, a regular person go down, right? A non-suited up person, the right areas, not really the joints per se, but near them, right? And you have to not hit them in areas that could kill them, right? Non-lethal hits. You have to do this for a full minute. It's almost like running a mile is what that's equated to, the amount of energy that you expend. It's still pouring, and I don't want my phone to get fried. Hang on a minute, guys. I got 2 chairs here. 2 chairs. All right. Gita puppy, you're all right. Boy, the dogs are barking something fierce today. All right. Oh, I'm gonna have a seat right here. Good place to be. Fred, you did the Red Man suit? Yeah, we sure got to dig into them a little bit when we did that. We had a blast with that. It was fun. Um, but I tell you, the thing they kept pointing out to us was you got to take the fight to them, bring the fight to the assailant, right? Because the more you can put the pressure on them, the more advantage you have. You have to continually have the will to keep fighting. It's all about how your willpower is going to go for that full minute. Are you willing to engage, even when you feel like you have nothing left? Are you willing to engage fighting for that full minute? And they're going to push you to do that, right? They'll pop down for maybe a couple seconds, when you've hit them properly, but then it'll be like they're right back up as if another person is coming at you, right? Like you're getting attacked by multiple attackers, kind of thing. So that was an interesting exercise, and I hung in, but man, I was about done after that minute. I was ready to quit. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you learn to take some hits because they'll come at you relentlessly too. And even getting hit with gloves kicks your butt. But yeah, it was. I've had different opportunities to get that message hit home many times throughout life. It's like, what are you going to do when the chips are down? You're going to do what you've trained to do. You're going to do what you've prepared yourself for. And that's true in so many different areas of life, but it really got hit home to me yesterday. I need to pick it up. I need to pick it up because at least physically, I'm not prepared to push myself. Maybe the motivation just wasn't strong enough. Maybe I needed better motivation, but it's like what I needed to motivate me, just knowing that I had this test and I needed to pass it, that wasn't enough. Kitten, come on in. Our kitten was outside again in the rain. Animals are interesting. They're all playing and fighting with each other in there. It's pretty hilarious. Hang on. Children, come here. Hi. Hi. Here, I'll move and you can come on out. Now they're chasing the cat. Come here, Gerby. Come on up. You can come up here. Can you make it through? All the dogs pouring out the door. Oh, man. Hey, guys, I think your mom is still here. Or is Peoria Dog still in the room? Gita, you want to say hi? Say hi, people. Chunky puppy. Chunky puppy. Guys, relax. You don't need to fuss so much, all right? It's okay. Here. I'm going to do something. Real quick. Come on, kids. Let's go. Everybody out. Come on, guys. Come on, Gita. There you go. How about that? And we'll do this. All right. Everybody have a seat. Sounds good? Yeah. Everybody come out. Everybody's congregating here on the porch. They want to be right up with me because it's raining out there and they don't really want to be out in the rain. Well, not this one. Not Spectrum Puppy. She's a hoot. Gita, you're a hoot. Mom says hi, by the way. Oh, goodness. So, yeah, yes, Peoria Dogs is Beautiful Lady Bear, for those who don't know. She's my beautiful wife. I wanted to find a way to turn a negative situation or a downer kind of deal into an encouragement. Boom. For all of you guys. I figure that's important because it's encouraging to me if I can pass encouragement along. Gets my head back in the game where it needs to be. Like, I've got a few months before I'm going to retest on that. I'd like to do it sooner rather than later, but they give you a decent amount of time before you're required to officially retake that. But Yeah, I think the idea is like 6 months or something. I'm like, I definitely don't want to retake it in January. That's it's not my preference. I think I'll be in much better shape to do that in the fall. Would be great. Uh, but or just the beginnings of at least. What are you doing, bud? Chunk. He's so funny. Hey, Mama. Good morning. Got my beautiful lady bear in the room too. Peoria Dogs. She's a wonderful, beautiful lady. um, so yeah, if you're just coming in, yeah, I know, right? It's tough to do. I get up early. I'm a weirdo, and I'm fixing to get up earlier pretty soon here. If I'm going to keep this stream going at 8 a.m. Central, that means I'm going to have to be up like before 6. You know, but I suspect with the whole sunlight thing that probably won't be an issue. Um, because I'll be I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah, I'll be up in Alaska coming pretty quick here for a couple weeks. So up, well, I mentioned it to the rest of you. I didn't know if Mama heard it or not. But at any rate, um, yeah, feel free to go check this out later, Mama. It should be kind of an encouragement. I hope. um, let's see now. So today I've got a number of things to take care of. Got money, got to go get paid for teaching, another fun stuff like that, and that's always a plus. I'm a fan of that. And I'm gonna have to put out some more little things, different places for the T-shirt campaign. And we've sold one shirt. We've sold one, which is great. Make drumming great again and again and again. Mad guy and anda. That's what I call it. It's not a MAGA cap or a MAGA hat. It's a Madga and anda. Right, Gita? Can you buy my dad's shirt and pass the link to people, and then here's a shirt. And I'm not Hopper, but I'm just as cute. Well, that might be debatable, but no, she's debatable. She's debatable. She is debatable, but she's cute. That's what I meant to say. They're like climbing under my chair. I'm not sure what motivates dogs. Those are creatures that are full of motivation, though. They're incredible to me. The things they're motivated to do are a little disturbing sometimes. uh, let's see here. So, yeah, I've got some students later today as well, and then maybe in the evening I'll get to spend time with beautiful Lady Bear for a little bit before I have to head out in the next few days or so. Um, let's see now. I'm gonna have my kids all day. I'm gonna spend some time with them coming up tomorrow, and that'll be awesome. Cause I always enjoy spending time with them. Oh, you guys are sweet. You didn't have to share that, but I always appreciate that. Yeah, we're shooting for 11, by the way. I just want to get the link distributed lots of places, and encourage people to buy one. So I was saying, yeah, I've sold one so far, and guess who bought it? My mom. My mom, who's definitely much more to the left politically in a lot of ways, bought a shirt that has kind of a goof on the Trump logo, which is funny. But it's her son's shirt, so she wanted to support, and I was appreciative of that. Um, yeah, so bird just went right by here, the porch. That was kind of crazy. Caught my attention and the dog's attention. Right, Gerby? Yeah. You want to say hi? Yeah. Dad, I know I'm your favorite, and you could probably just get rid of the other dogs. You just don't need them. You need me. I'm the best dog of all. The only dog you'll ever want. Ever. And all the food should be mine because it's just obvious. That's just what makes sense. Nobody loves you like I do, Dad. Should have seen it when we got her. When we got it, I think, yeah, we did. Dawn showed it. My wife showed that when I did the episode with Beautiful Lady Bear last week. Here, one more. Just because Bisky wanted that. Yeah, she's a good puppy dog. Hey, Kirby, come back up. They can't see you. You're hiding. She doesn't want to be on camera all of a sudden. This one does. Get a puppy. Get a puppy. I love you. I love you. I love you, puppy. Yes, I gotta get a puppy. This could be the whole YouTube channel right here. Oh my goodness. Oh, you ready to go back in, kid? Oh no, you're ready to go play. I was trying to figure out what's going on. Hey, Mr. Nicktown's in here. Good deal, man. So, Gerby was climbing underneath my seat, and I was trying to figure out what the heck was happening. And she was trying to get out from behind me and go after Chunk, and they are just barreling through the yard. Now she's like grabbing a hold of his collar and she wrangles Chunk down to the ground. Chunk's a 90-pound dog. Gerby's 35 or 36 pounds. And she tells him what's up. Mind blowing. Gita just watches, and sometimes she'll get in there and fuss with Chunk a little bit, and they'll fight, and they go to toe a little bit better because they're comparable. Although Chunk still has about 30 pounds on Gita, but then Gerby will be a referee for those fights. It's pretty funny. I'm not sure whether she's a referee or a cheerleader. We've been talking about that for a while. Oh, good morning, Mr. Wasp. Well, I'd rather not have you around while I'm live streaming. Let's see. I'm going to leave you alone because you're just sitting still right now, and I'm going to keep you that way. Yeah. There we go. He can stay right where he or she is. Or is he? I don't know. Interesting character. But at any rate, yeah, you don't want to be in the rain, do you? I'm not a big fan of the wasps. I'm less of a fan of ladybugs, though. Probably shouldn't admit that. You have two pit mixes. One is blue healer pit mix, and the other is a boxer. Oh, I bet those are fun. That's got to be great. Pit mixes are awesome. But at any hoot. So yeah, I've got some stuff. Yeah, me no likey wasps either. No, they haven't hurt me. They did a long time ago, Now we're gonna sit on the couch, in the therapist's office. You're gonna be like, show me on the doll where the wasp touched you, It wasn't good. That's what it sounded like this was heading towards. I figured I just might make a joke about it. Let's see now. I have rehearsal with a new band. Hey, China Lane, good to see you. Shade, glad you're in here. Or Shayla, excuse me. Which, you said you're the same person, aren't you? Oh, stung twice is not good. Yeah, I've had that when I was a kiddo. It was no fun. I was saying a new band called 3 Mile High. They've been around for a little while, actually, but they're going to have me in to play drums for a rehearsal tomorrow evening, and that'll be awesome. And they've got a Rush tune in their set. It's like, yes. We got Limelight up in there. We've also got, like, what is that? An Alice in Chains tune called Rooster, and that's a favorite of mine because that's all about 101st Airborne. That's kind of the little icon that's on their shield that they wear on their arm patch. Is a picture of an eagle, I think, but Vietnamese called it a rooster. It looks kind of like that. And so when they were out during Vietnam, I guess, they were terrified of the 101st dropping from the air to bring death. You guys are super cool. I always love it when people drop the links. You know, I always love seeing that when I'm in Owen streams and people are just, you know, like Kodiak's a beast about that stuff, constantly dropping links for him, and that's super cool. Plus, I'll make sure it's in the description here. It's in the description of virtually every video on my channel now. The first thing. Well, yeah, Mayor, and that's switching topics a little bit here. Um, Alex Lifeson soloing is not an easy thing to pick up on. You know, if you're going to start playing Rush tunes in a cover band, you really got to work hard at building that up. Maybe it's not everybody's style either. Not everybody likes to solo the way he does, but man, he's ridiculously good. Um, he's really, really, really talented. So, and it's all instinctive. He does so much of that just instinctively. You know, from a lot of the music that they grew up listening to. You know, the blues type stuff, and of course they had that album they did a few years ago was called Feedback, and it was looking back at, hey, Andrew's up in here too. Well, I think Andrew's been up in here. I think I knew that, and if I didn't say hey to you then, I say hey to you now. Um, yeah, the Feedback album, they played a bunch of covers for the first time in their career, at least recording wise, and they did a bunch of them live too, which was great. But like Heart Full of Soul, I did Crossroads, tunes like that. It was so much fun. It was a cool album. Um, so, you know, I think a lot of that stuff influenced Alex, and that has a lot to do with his whole rhythm lead style. Um, but he's just a fun guy to listen to. Really interesting player. Um, so yeah, what am I thinking about? Somebody said something just a minute ago that I wanted to comment on. What was it? I'm looking back here. One of these days I'll do this on the laptop more often. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting working with the band. That's what I was gonna talk about. Um, like to get to play a Rush tune in a band and play that live. That's been one of my hopes for a long time that I'd get to cover some Rush tunes like publicly, and I've been listening to Limelight since I was 12. Um, that the entire Moving Pictures album they did back in '81. It was just a year before I was born, right? And so that album's just slightly older than me, and it's the album that made me want to be a drummer. I remember that show. I just never saw much of it. I'm very familiar with when that came out. I bet I would enjoy that. Hang on. Everybody's done going potty. Now they want back in. So, all right, dogs, move out of the way. You know what? Dad might even come in and sit in his studio area. How about that? How about that? Yeah. All right. Come on, Chunk. Come on in here. Yeah. I might as well come down where it's nicely lit. Oh, you're going into the bowels of the rat house. That's dangerous stuff. Caressive Steel was a great album. You're absolutely right. That's very, very true. Hi, Kitten. Kitten's taken over. How did you even get in here? Oh, that's right. I remember it was earlier. Um, so, it's a kitten. Relax. Hey, Harold's up in here. That's awesome. Hey, Harold, I saw your post earlier today I guess it was yesterday on Facebook about getting away from a lot of the negativity in the news, by the way. And I love that. Yeah, if you don't follow Harold on Facebook, he's definitely an interesting guy to listen to. He's got some good insights, not just in music, but about the climate of political discourse or lack thereof, just ridiculousness that goes on more often than not. But yeah, so I know people have just been freaking out since the Putin meeting, um, earlier this week, and yeah, Harold, I appreciated your thoughts on that. That was worthwhile. Because it's just so unhealthy. It's just so unnecessary to be that reactionary. And I can't say that I'm never that way. I'm certainly reactionary plenty of times. But yeah, there's so many other things to think about, so many other wonderful things to be focused on. Um, I was thinking at the top of this whole podcast today that most of the world throughout history, um, most of the people in the world throughout most of history, including now, have next to nothing, right? They have mostly struggle in their lives. And I have so much blessing. Just a fraction of what I have is blessing. Uh, did we all forget that Obama and Putin, that Obama said to Putin, all have more flexibility? Yeah, I saw that clip. I saw that clip. Yeah, you're right, man. I think there's an appropriate use for some teasing, or I guess you could say insult to a degree, like trolling. At times has a legitimate comedic purpose, and I think that's. There's times when you do that, but I think within reason. I think to highlight complete ridiculousness with a little laughter, something that brings us to laughter. It's probably worthwhile because that's a diffuser in a lot of ways. If we can laugh at some of the absolute inaneness that goes on from some people from time to time, um, if others join in, great. If others are going to say you're horrible for doing that, well, they were probably going to say that anyway. So yeah, I think we should do our best to not allow ourselves to be mired down in vitriol and anger because it's very easy to do. Um, yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, if you look for some fun insights from time to time on what's going on, Harold Love Bear, as I think he's dubbed himself, and I think is great. He's definitely a source for some of that. Um, Worthwhile thoughts. Let's see now. Um, I was going to show you something. Let's see if it'll actually work. So I have the MacBook set up over here, and I wanted to show you one of my favorite tools with a MacBook that I use for um, songwriting and just music practice in general. Can't see. Let's see here. Yeah, is it up? So I've got this cheap little keyboard over here. Thanks again, Kike. You're really really cool with that. Um, Cheap little keyboard that I've got, a little Casio business, right? And it's old and garbagey, but it does what I need it to do, right? I can get done what I need to, and I have a MIDI in and out cable, musical instrument digital interface cable. Um, so I can put through here. I can put this into my GarageBand app on my MacBook, and I can get all kinds of different things going. Let's see here. Let's go back a little bit. So yeah, here we go. So because this thing is so DJ Big Drum. I I have been able to sit here and I've been one of the things that I've done is just a great tool. Great tool. You don't have to have a lot. That's kind of my point. You can have cheap stuff if that's all you've got, and you can still do an amazing amount with it, right? So I've got all kinds of different sound libraries going on in here, but one of the things I do when I want to practice creating is start something small. And I've gotten these nice little ideas that I'm going to grow into bigger song ideas. So I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Let's get it. I started doing this by making a theme song for Dawn for her show. And she has her podcast theme. So what did I do with that? I have I might have it here. Hang on. I'm going to bring up a couple different things that I did. Let's see. Done. Do that. Hang on a second. Okay. So, sorry, this is kind of slow, and I don't like to face away from you so much. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. It's China. It's nothing extravagant. It's really really simple. It's just a MacBook, and that I was thankfully able to pick up a while back, and I'm really really grateful for it. Let's see here. Where did my waves go? All right, cool. So make that bigger so I can see them all. I started with where did that go? Oh, here we go. Make it a theme song for my wife. This is like a theme song that I'm working out for her YouTube show. Really, really just simple basic, and that was the beginnings of it. It's like 4 measures worth of music. And it came off of another little piece that I put together. If you go to Peoria Dog's YouTube channel, you can check out some of her videos. And the theme song that's in there, I recorded that. It's not that one. That's some other one I'm reworking to make it a more laid-back version. But I did this funky thing that I made with my little handy recorder. You know, I just multi-tracked it all in there. Guitar, bass, drums, and I think I put an organ in there as well. It's really, really simple stuff. So I did something else where I took, let's see here, I did this. This is like my ringtone for my phone now, a lot of the time. And this is just a little 8-bar phrase that I put together. But it's a musical idea. Thank you. Short little musical idea that I can make more stuff out of, right? But it helps me in a short-term practice and get some ideas down, like a sketch pad. I did another one that was just a short little thing, right? Ringtone idea. So it's nothing extravagant. This is like a 16-bar one. And then I can grow this into something larger. You know, it's just short little snippets that eventually can become parts of larger songs. But if you sit down to say, I'm going to write a whole huge song right now, a lot of times you'll fizzle out earlier because you get bogged down trying to make it perfect. You get bogged down trying to figure out, like, how should I put this in here and fit that in there? Don't worry about all that. Try to get just the fundamentals down. Just get like a basic little melody down. And that's often what I've done. I've written little bits and pieces of things, and I've stitched them together. And I don't have a big body of work or anything put out there. I don't have albums out yet. Usually because my focus has been in teaching and in other work, working with groups and things like that. I've much more often taken the serving the other artists' seat. You know, and that's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot from it. But I think it's coming closer to time that I need to put out some of my own material. So I have this whole huge body of work to do that from. Now I just need to spend some time and say, okay, let's get a finished product out here. So even just one song, Harold often says that, start with just one song, get one song produced. And that can be really motivating to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, have a domino effect, and you start wanting more and more, because you've already gotten that momentum just getting one out there. So let's see, I was trying to look back in the chat. I'll have to look at that later. So all of that you just heard, I made with that GarageBand app. You know, it's as simple as that. You come into this thing and you've got all sorts of different sounds you can do from here. And you can even put drum patches and other types of things like that from a keyboard. What's cool with this is that you've also got an availability, even if you don't have a keyboard, to do it right from the actual computer. You can use, this is what's called musical typing. So it's showing you a keyboard in a sense on here, but you can do about 1.5 octaves at a time, and you can play the keyboard from here. So, um, yeah, there's too many options, right? And you can find cheap MacBooks, like older MacBooks, '09. This is a mid '09. This is an old used MacBook. It's about a 9-year-old MacBook, and I'm making it do a ton of stuff. I've gotten this operating system upgraded to the most it'll go to, and it's got a decent processor speed, so it's not going to get bogged down with me trying to do lots of stuff at once. I can teach lessons from it. I can work on music from it. I don't have a good video editing app in there. So if I'm going to do video editing, I do most of that from my phone. That's where that tends to happen. But I think the point about sharing some of this is not an extravagant setup. This is not a lot of stuff to work with, right? But it's extremely functional. There's a lot you can do with it, right? So the bigger picture idea here is, if you don't feel like you have a lot, figure out what you do have. Take an inventory of what resources you've got, to make something happen that you want to make happen. It could be anything, right? Making some sort of a garden, or I don't know, putting together a food pantry or something for yourself, or giving to somebody else, trying to get people together, people that you know are a resource, getting people together to donate to a food pantry in your local area, if that's a mission that you have. I'm just thinking of different altruistic kind of things, but whatever whatever you feel like you connect with in meaning being in your life, something you can do that inspires you. Use what you've got. Use the resources you have to do something with it. I have a phone and a computer that doesn't always do what I want it to do, and yet I'm doing a live stream that I've been doing for over a month now, and that's fantastic. I didn't think I'd be able to do that before, but I just started doing it one day, and you guys joined on in here. You gave me an audience, and it's growing. It's getting bigger. You guys are putting links out there for me about the t-shirt, and that's huge. Just sharing the link in wherever you can is huge. I just mentioned it, and here it is. Kiki, you're killing me, man. That's too funny. I'm grateful for that. I really appreciate it. So, by the way, go buy Kiki's t-shirt too. Kiki's t-shirt is way cool, and it's cheaper than mine. Hers is only $15. Mine's $19.99. But hers is pretty cool, and I have to say I like it. Good. I like the graphic on there. That's intense, right? Mine has no graphics. Mine's just text, but it's still fun. We'll get the likes. The likes are coming. People will smash the button. It's all good. And that's probably some of the higher likes I've received in a video anyway. So I'm very appreciative. Anybody who, I'm not out here trying to get just the likes. That's not even the point. I'm grateful for them, and that's a wonderful thing. But I want to gain a greater audience because I want to have greater impact with people. Thank you, whoever just smashed the like button again. You guys are killing me. No, it's wonderful being able to do this and to realize that I don't have a lot and I'm making it happen. I know she did. I all you guys do, and you're great for that. The biggest thing that I ever hope for from you guys that come to watch this is that you can distribute it, right? To help it grow, because the goal is that there will be other things that I can make available to people. The things I do, I teach, or video lessons that I put out in the future. I don't expect you guys to be, like Owen says, my customers. I'm like, I gotta sell to you. If bears can help me broadcast this to greater amounts of people, there's a percentage of that are probably customers to some degree or want to invest in that. If you ever do, great, and some of you have hooked me up at times, and I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, I do all this with the few little resources I have to say I'm sort of planting a tree here, planting some little whatever it be, and in hopes that it grows into something fruitful, right? Something that produces for me that I can use in the future and take better care of my family. And it's already had return for me greatly. But the biggest, coolest thing is that I get to share what I'm doing in life. I even get to admit my failures and be accountable to the people that are watching. I can say, yeah, I bombed it on an Air Force PT test. And even by 15 seconds is bombing. right? I didn't pass, so it's bombing, right? You don't have to do massively bad. If I can just say, yep, that was not cutting the mustard, then I can have no qualms about it. I'm not like feeling down in the dumps. I'm like, no, I'm motivated now by recognizing that's a bomb, and I really don't want to be a person who just bombs. I want to be a person who succeeds. So, and I am that, right? The more I just decide that's the person that I am, I need to make my behavior fit that, right? Thank you, brother. I appreciate that very much. And that's what I hope. I hope to be for people, to encourage you to attack life with love, right? Bring that to the table for so many more people. And, Owen inspired me to get a podcast going. Um, and he's inspired a number of others of you to do that. Maybe I'll inspire other people to start their story, right? To journal through live streaming. Because when you do it in front of other people, you have this accountability, right? You have this kind of thing going on where, you know that people are going to hold you accountable for what you've said or what you've done a little bit. And so you may be a little more mindful of it. Love Bear does need a podcast. Yes, you need to get lovebear@gmail.com, right? And then you go and create that YouTube account and build that, and I will come to those podcasts, I'm telling you, right? You need to go to unbearablesapp.com and get verified and join the revolution. We're recruiting bears. Harold being a bear, man, it would be so great. If you're up in Owen's podcasts, man, I bet you would have some great insight to share with him too. I think he'd love to have you in there. But who knows? Maybe one of you guys, maybe you two get to work together one of these days. I bet he'd enjoy working with a musician that's got the background you have and has the love that you have to bring to the table, and that'd be cool to see. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, and I think my beautiful lady bear is probably due back pretty soon here from where she's dog sitting, and we're gonna get our Bible reading going on, and then I'm gonna have to, excuse me, I'm gonna have to go pick up payment for one of my students and get to the bank, get some things deposited, and hashtag not a cult. That's right. Don't ever forget. Now everybody has to remember that, and it's kind of cool because we break off and we do our own things, right? We all have our own chapters. Yeah, Owen was kind of starting this community, but so many of us have broken off and started doing our own things, right? And I don't think Owen comes to all of our podcasts, and I don't expect him to. He's doing his stuff. Great. He wasn't expecting all of us to always come there either. We come when we can. Other people come when we can. We share it. We help it grow. I expect within a year's time he's going to have easily well over 200,000 subscribers, and probably have more than 2,000 people coming to a live stream. Hashtag check your shirt sales. You guys are awesome. Yeah, share that too, and help us get to, at a minimum, 11, because they don't get made. They won't even get created unless there's 11 sales, right? Once there's 11, then they get sold. I probably get about 40 or 50 bucks out of that. That's about it. For 11 being sold, so it's about 4 to 5 per, but all that proceeds go to building this channel bigger and making it more interesting, having more cool stuff to bring to the table. What I'd love to do at some point is to have the setup where Owen has like the camera on the piano and a camera on his face, and I could talk with you guys, and I could have a camera on any instrument that I'm sharing for that day. Eventually, I'd love to have it where I have a multi-tracked thing where I'm working on songs and stuff, and I'll play every part to a song and show you how I broke that down. I've recently talked with my buddy Dorian, who's the bass player for the Ashley Bean Band right now, and he's also now the guitar player for 3 Mile High, and we're going to start working together over there. And he and I have talked about the possibility of creating some songs, and he's written quite a bit of music himself as well, but we thought we'll go in his studio and we'll break down the process from both perspectives. So on his channel, you'll see from the engineer's side how, and the songwriter's side, how we're putting all this together. From my end, you'll see how I compose the drum parts, right? How I do my job in the studio, things I think about to be the best I can be in that situation, right? Doing my best, right? And you know I'm gonna have the vest on when I do it, right? That's gotta happen. But at any rate, yeah, look for things like that coming up. Today, you have it, my word is my bond, right? I'm going to have the videos from last week's gig at the field house, the last 2 videos up. I'm gonna go get that right now before Beautiful Lady Bear gets home. Not Big, ooh, almost got killed right there. She could reach out through the live stream and get me for that one. So I'm gonna stop now. Love y'all, bears. Pray that I come back Monday and we have a stream. Beautiful lady bear, right? So we're clear. Not big. I'm big drum bear, so that's clear. I'll be coming to you next time from the beautiful Fairbanks, I believe, area of Alaska. It's gonna be pretty awesome. Love to you, bears, and look for cool videos of some jazz and an interview with Jeff RBC coming at you today. Peace, guys.